board meeting for the National Trauma Awareness Initiative. My name is Sarai Cook, and I'm your servant leader, and I'll be running the meeting, and I'll just go ahead and take all the notes, and then I will send you out a copy of everything that was decided here tonight. So before we get started, we're going to open up with a song. Dave, we're going to run this meeting in a traditional Native way, and in our Native ways, we open the meeting with a song and a prayer and good vibes for everybody. Dave, do you want to tell us why we open with a song and a prayer so that everyone could know a little bit more?
The reason why they open with song and prayer is because in spirit the songs actually are part of healing. So that's a lot of indigenous groups right across the island. They focus on that, and that's the reason why they have a song, and then the prayer and all that. That's for everything to go smooth with the meeting and so on and so forth. So that's how it's going to be. So today, respectfully in my area, I'm going to sing an honor song. And when do you want me to do the prayer, Sarai? Right now?
Jennifer, if after you sing the song, we're going to have Jennifer pray.
Okay. Okay. This is an honor song. No dawinan kesemaneda Wehaya oya eha Weya ya oya e Weya ya ya Weya oya e Weya ya oya e Weya ya e Weya ya yo. There you go. 4 stars with that song. Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay. I'm sorry, my phone's acting up, so I apologize. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with prayer. Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for the blessings of having this organization and for Sarai bringing us all together. I pray you just keep us mindful of what this purpose is for, and that we can stay mindful in our servant leadership and making sure that we do things for others and not for our egos and for ourselves. I pray you just be with us through each meeting, be with our leadership, be with our guidance, and help us stay on the compass that you need us to do your work to help people. I pray you things in your sweet and most precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, we're gonna do roll call. Isabel Coronado, say present.
Present.
Jennifer Shilchief, Jennifer Little Son. Elizabeth Davenport.
Present.
David Little Son, not here. Leander Yating.
Present.
Dr. Gina Perez Barone.
Here.
Nicole Rose.
Here.
Dave Jambier.
Here.
Okay, so we're just going to do a quick overview of NTAI, and then after that, we're just going to do our introductions, and we'll give time if anybody wants to be heard after that, and then we're going to go on about our business with just our board members. But the advisory board members are welcome to stay and take part in that as well. But I just want to be cognizant of your time and not waste your time at all. So we really appreciate our advisory board members being here. And so with that, I'll just go ahead and launch into the introduction for y'all. Can you see it? Yeah? Okay. So I'm Sarai Cook. I'm formerly incarcerated civil rights and human rights attorney. I'm a Muskogee Creek, Muskogee Nation citizen. I'm leading the National Trauma Awareness Initiative. This initiative came about from my own personal history with trauma. If you look at the ACEs test, the Adverse Childhood Experiences test, I have it started out with 10 questions. And after they studied more in inner cities and people of color, they raised it up to 13, added 3 additional questions, which included, have you been discriminated against? Have you experienced bullying? Have you been in the foster care system? So they added those extra 3 questions. Out of those 13, I have 9 of the adverse childhood experiences. That led me, I believe that trauma led me to first the juvenile institutions, juvie. It led me to a life of a lot of violence and a lot of crime, which led me later to prison. And I got out of prison and I went to law school. I went to Portland Community College, then I went to University of Portland, and then I went to law school, graduated law school, went to work for my tribe. I worked for my tribe in various capacities, taught at the tribal college, worked in community development, worked in our reentry program, worked in DC for all tribes in the lower 48 with the Office of Indian Energy Policy and Programs, and then worked at, did some reentry law here in Seattle, Washington, where I live. And looking back, when I came to Seattle, looking back across my life and my history, I noticed that, okay, I've been an attorney for 8 years. Why don't I have more? Why don't I have more security and stability? And then why do I keep feeling traumatized in my job, listening to about people being shot and people being killed, and just listening to all of our clients and the horrendous things that happen to them within the criminal justice system. And I decided it's time to start an organization run and led by people of color to raise awareness around trauma in the criminal justice system and other systems that serve people with high histories of trauma. I came to know about my own trauma by first growing up in Indian healthcare system, IHS. I personally believe that IHS has been trauma informed before trauma informed was a thing. I always felt at home and treated with respect in the IHS system. And I never felt treated that way in other medical systems. So when I started going to Kaiser Permanente, I wondered why I felt the way, why I felt accepted, why I felt treated with respect when I had never been treated that way in other non-native systems. Well, I found out it's because they're trauma informed. So I thought, hey, if they're trauma informed, if this huge medical system can become trauma informed, why can't jails and prisons be trauma informed? Why can't organizations, states, and people that deal with people that have high histories of trauma and are supposed to be helping these people, why aren't they trauma informed? Why don't people feel more accepted and more cared for in these systems as well? Why are people coming out of prison still extremely traumatized and not able to reenter back into society? So that's the history of the organization. Started this organization to raise awareness around these issues. Do you guys see the mission up there? No? Yeah, okay. So this is our mission to start to educate people and raise awareness so that we can implement and utilize trauma-informed practices within public entities like government bodies, criminal justice system, nonprofit organizations. By doing this, we systemically accommodate people that have unaddressed trauma and mental health disabilities, because right now there's a lot of barriers to requesting those accommodations. Basically, you almost need a lawyer just to request these accommodations, and people don't have access to lawyers. So by systemically building in trauma-informed practices into these places that serve people with high levels of unaddressed trauma. It becomes systemic and just a way of doing business. Where we provide trauma awareness training to state and local bodies and nonprofit organizations. This will help increase their understanding and tolerance towards people that have unaddressed trauma. We're raising awareness about the high levels of trauma present in people that experience homelessness, poverty, and incarceration. And this talks a little bit about you. Every single person here on this call has a 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. And that's why I brought you all together. That was a requirement to be on the board, that you have 4 or more adverse childhood experiences, because we need people leading that know what it's like. We need people leading that have that lived experience and can really empathize and sympathize with others. And we're gonna work on some advocacy efforts. We want to do some research and some studies on people that are incarcerated and formerly incarcerated. When we're collecting those, if anybody knows anyone that can fill out this survey, it's on the website, and I will send that link around to everybody that is incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. If I can get 500 of those, then I can start to analyze the data and start writing about the differences between people that are in the criminal justice system and then people that are in the average public. Because the majority of people in the United States, I think, have less than 4. So if we're just trying to find out how much more likely adverse childhood experiences are within people that are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. We also want to provide technical assistance to states. Delaware has, the governor of Delaware has declared Delaware a trauma-informed state. He did that by executive order. So if other states can do, their governors can provide an executive order that designates the state as trauma-informed, that makes it mandatory for all the state agencies to become trauma-informed, and that includes jails and prisons and social services and child welfare. So we seek to provide technical assistance around when and if that happens. We provide 1-hour trainings, 4-hour trainings, custom trainings, and trauma-informed policy guidance on contract as consultants. Right now, we have 0 money. Our budget's 0. So, but we want to build capacity. I've been speaking with SAMHSA about training 20 people. So it's $22,750 to train 20 people. And then they'll be trainer certified. And so I want to start out with 20, then 40, then 60, then we can have trainers all over the United States providing this information. And they would be paid on contract anywhere between $500 and $1,000 for their service of providing those trainings to people. The thought behind that is that they would be working professionals that would just take a day off and provide trainings here and there. And that's because this is heavy material. So hiring someone to do nothing but these trainings, to me, is not trauma informed. If you're having to do these trainings every day, you're going to get burnt out in about a month, in my opinion. So if people can just be in their regular jobs and take a day off here or there to provide trainings, and then they can also bring this information back to. So let me stop sharing. Are we back? No PowerPoint? All right, wonderful. Okay, we're gonna do introductions now, and so we're gonna try to keep it to 3 minutes per person. That way we don't run out of time. Please, I'm gonna call on the first person, and then they can call on the next person until we get all the way through. So who are you? Kind of a little bit about you, why you wanted to be on the board, and if you could change one thing in this world today, what would that be? And I'm asking that question because I want this to be a platform for each and every one of you as well. And so let me know, let the organization, we can all work on things together to help us further our purpose. So I'm going to call on Elizabeth first, and then Elizabeth will call on the next person.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Davenport. Can you guys hear me well? Yeah, okay. Um, caught me a little off guard, but I am a family law attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia. I do international and domestic family law. So anything with domestic violence, TPO cases, legitimation, divorce, anything with also veterans. I do a veteran pro bono project, and I work with a lot of the pro bono clinics here in Atlanta. So like Atlanta Legal Aid and Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation. So I wanted to be on the board because when I first spoke with Sarai, just even with the ACEs test, I could definitely relate to everything that she was saying and everything that I had been through in my past. I don't actually like saying I've been in the system, but when I was younger, I was passed from home to home in different homes. And I've gone through a lot of trauma in my life as well. So I was just excited about joining, and I was also excited that someone, recognized this need, that it needed to be some type of awareness about trauma. If I could change anything in the world, what would I change? Oh, so many things. I think just people's mindset. I think that's like the biggest thing. If people could change their way of thinking, across the world, and they would be able to either sympathize or empathize with people and just kind of break away of just thinking in their boxes. Because I know for me, that was a thing. Sorry, I don't want to go over 3 minutes. I think I'm maybe at 3 minutes. Am I? I'm good.
Good, you're good.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to think of it, but that's pretty much it. I'm an attorney here in Atlanta. I also had a lot of trauma growing up. I lived in a lot of homes out. Me and Sarai, let me give a quick background. I was living in, because I was going through a lot of stuff here in the US, and I went on sabbatical, and I was living in China, and that is how I came about meeting Sarai. So yeah, I will pass to Isabel, only because it's close to my Spanish name, which is Isabella.
Hey y'all. Am I coming through okay? Not so. Yes. Hopefully. Okay. My name's Isabel Coronado. I'm Sarai Cook's daughter. I'm a current policy entrepreneur with the Next 100, which is a progressive think tank for the next generation policy leaders. There I focus on the mass incarceration of Native people, as well as shedding light to children who have incarcerated parents. And so I'm on this board because I think now that I've really been in policy these last few years, I really came to understand like root issues and root problems. And trauma is definitely one of those. So it's really exciting to be part of this organization and part of this advocacy effort before it really blows up on the national scale, which I really think is going to be the next step. If I could do anything, change anything in the world right now, I think I would change the language in the Constitution about how it talks about incarcerated people. That'd be my initiative. Jen, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Littleson, and I live in Oklahoma City. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I live in Oklahoma City. My husband and I.
Jen, come put it close to your face. I think then yeah.
Okay. I live in Oklahoma City. My husband and I have a nonprofit that we started several years ago. My husband served 20 years in prison. We both are from Pawnee. We both grew up on the Pawnee Reservation in Oklahoma. And because of what he went through, we started a nonprofit, because what we found was that when he got out, not only did he not know how to use credit card machines or how to pump gas or simple things like that, but the mental health conditions that came with it. So that led me to do more research, and then that's how we found out about post-incarceration syndrome and how it crippling disability, mental health issues for people who serve long-term sentences. And so we create a nonprofit, and we go inside of prisons, and we also work with the Department of Corrections and with prosecutors and judges, and we teach about PICS, which is post-incarceration syndrome. We also have a family reintegration support group that's made specifically for families and spouses, so that spouses can learn what is the realistic mutual expectations of putting a family back together with someone with PICS. What's real and what's not real, and what you can expect and what you can't expect. So right now we're creating a curriculum and workbook for spouses so that they can work together, because our goal, which is going to go into what I foresee and hope for changing in the world, is eradicating shame and empowering self-worth, because someone's value is not based off of what they've been through or what trauma they've been through. But, shame definitely makes you feel like that way. So our goal is to kind of reprogram the brain and educate people in the system, including judges, prosecutors, on PICS and how to move forward with that. So that's why I wanted to be on this board. I've known Sarai for a long time. It's been a decade now, maybe. She used to be my boss, actually, at Creek Nation, and we've just been really close ever since. In fact, Isabel and I worked together. She was our deputy director for our nonprofit, and so I'm excited to be here. So Gina, I'm going to pass it off to you.
All right. Wow. This is excellent. Hi, everyone. I am Gina Perez-Barron. I'm a family practice kind of physician, Chicana and Apache kind of lineage, just to put things in perspective with what Sarai started with. I've got an ACE score of 10 out of that 13 scale. I'm the past medical director at Seattle Indian Health Board, now am the staff kind of physician. The way that I describe it is I'm a product of cultural kind of genocide and our survivability. I'm a graduate of Stanford Medical School. Most of my practice has been in the Southwest, in New Mexico, where we have our roots. I created a model for treating addiction that is both culturally attuned and trauma informed. Was wildly successful in northern New Mexico, where some of you may know was the epicenter for the opioid epidemic, kind of 20 years before it hit Anglos and then became an epidemic, right? Let's see, what else can I tell you? I'm specialty trained in treating kind of myofascial pain with trigger points, which has been an interesting approach to also kind of unfolding and identifying somatic kind of memory to trauma, having the ability to pair that with traditional kind of medicine on the medical floor has been a pretty incredible experience. My passion is really to work with Indigenous people. I think that while we're the most deeply affected, we're also the most powerfully empowered to deal with trauma. And we need to heal our own wounds first. One of my deep loves is to work with formerly incarcerated folks. I had a lot of experience with that in New Mexico and a lot of success. Let's see. Why do I want to be on the board? I want to support all of you. I really am excited with this organization. I have not known Sarai that long, but I share her passion. And my goal is to put the tools, the individual tools that each of us have that are unique to each of us in everyone's hand to be able to address and treat and heal our own trauma because we all have it. All right, I think that's it. Dave.
Hello there. How are you? Greetings from Canada. Anyway, I'm very honored to be a part of the advisory board committee. Advisory board. Anyway, it's not the first time I served on the board, but when it comes to trauma, I basically think that it's affected a lot of our people, either from United States, Canada, or way down in the deep south, like Mexico, wherever you come from, wherever your place is. I think probably it started when the first the doctrine of discovery, I'll say. That's when trauma started. And now currently it affects a lot of our youth, a lot of our younger people. A lot of them don't have a language, a lot of them don't have an understanding of culture. I think it's it's a must. So anyway, I'm happy to be part of the group here tonight, and happy to meet all you fellow advisory board members and the board members. Yeah. But thank you for giving us the opportunity, Sarai, to voluntarily leave. So after I finish my chit chat here, I'm going to kindly sign off, and thank you for the footnotes and everything here. So just give us an update when the next meeting will be. And I'll be happy to meet you, Doctor MD in Seattle. Thank you for being a part of the group, because like we need professional people like you. And then us as like as individual people will be able to make sense. It would be a sense of understanding, as long as we use the four aspects of being a person, like the mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. If you use those four, you can go a long way. I have a friend over here in Canada. He's a psychologist, registered psychologist, and that guy, he's a go-to guy. I told him, I said, I don't need mental health. I said, don't be sending the bill to the medical services branch. I said, I just come and visit you in the capacity of you being my friend. But anyway, I'm very honored, and thank you guys. And I'll pick the fellow Dene to speak.
Dave, real quick,
Yo,
if you can change one thing in the world today, what would it be?
if I could change one thing in the world, it would be helping our young people to learn the language and getting back into the land. Yeah, that's one thing. Relearning the language and the culture. All right, guys, I'm signing out. Okay. Thank you. See you next meeting.
Leander?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Leander Yatin. I'm from the Yakama Nation. I came here in Seattle like July 15th, 2019 to take part in the Red Road in recovery. And along that journey, I was fortunate and blessed enough to meet a lot of people that had a lot of insight, within recovery by following their hearts. And a lot of that was, I was fortunate enough to meet Sarai in a few meetings. And when she came to me and asked me if I would be willing to take part in this, it was like a big, I don't know, it was just good medicine that just exploded in my face, because it was like, I've never been a part of anything that from ground up that definitely has the potential and the definitely has the right motivation to lift off and you know, touch a lot of people, and hopefully and eventually, you know, get a lot of people aware out there in the, hopefully throughout the world, you know. And to be a part of something like that has always been like a dream, something that I've always wanted to be involved in, that really meant something, you know. You know, as a kid, I never realized I was a subject, or, you know, a person of trauma, because, you know, I've always had the mindset of just to brush it under the rug, or to look past it, because I thought it was normal. If I could change one thing in this world, it would be my ignorance towards the traumas that the world suffers. You know, I mean, in order for me to at least make a difference in the world, I gotta understand where it all rooted from, where it all came from, how it all started. And, you know, I need this kind of organization, and the people that are involved in it, to help me open my eyes and fill my mind, so that way I'll know exactly where to place my heart in order to lift the spirits, you know, and help be guided by the people that are educated about this. And so yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, the more I learn and the more I know, I think, you know, the more it'll be easier for me to keep, I don't know, keep going, moving forward along with the organization to pursue progress. But yeah, thank you for allowing me to take part in this and be a part of something that I know is definitely gonna be a beautiful seed that's gonna go out there and sprout and create medicine that heals all those that need healing. Thank you.
Nicole, last but not least.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Rose, and I am an attorney in Oregon, but I live in Washington, over east of Vancouver in Washougal. I work for the Multnomah County Health Department, and I do transactional work as a contract and procurement supervisor. So one of my goals in that position is to lower barriers for individuals wanting, you know, and businesses wanting to do work with the county on behalf of folks in the community. I'm a former legal aid attorney, and I kind of left that position because of some of the trauma in my past. It was difficult to do that work, having been impacted by trauma as a child and as a young adult. The reason I want to be on this board is, in talking to Sarai, I found the work she wants to do so compelling. And I thought about some of the experiences I've had and some of that of my friends and family members. And if people, I think about how different things could have turned out for people I love if folks had been trauma informed and some of these systems had been cognizant and aware of their histories. And I imagine, you know, engaging with this work and being able to have that kind of impact with this group for people going forward. And that's something I would like to be a part of if I can. So I'm really excited to have been invited. to be on the advisory board and to do whatever I can or have any kind of impact. As far as the question on changing the world, I actually put a lot of thought into this when I read it. There were so many answers I thought I could give, and none of them seemed right. And I have this type of personality, like I want to get the good grade. I want to, say the right thing. This is my personality. Sarai, you probably know this about me. This is how I am. So, I ended up talking to my 16-year-old, and I said, "You got to help mommy with this." I said, I can't come up with an answer that I feel like sounds right. And, she said something so beautiful to me. So I'm going to steal it from her because it almost, it grabbed my heart. She said, what I would change, Mom, is I would change that people get set aside or not heard. And I thought that was beautiful, because we do that. And I thought it was relevant to our conversation tonight because so many people get set aside, especially people who've experienced trauma and not heard. And that's so often I remember feeling that way, when I was, in I hate, like Elizabeth said, I hate saying, like, when I was in the system, but that was my reality. I oftentimes felt like I wasn't heard and that nobody saw me. And so I'm going to go with that answer that she gave. So thanks for having me here, Sarai. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. So at this
It's
time,
right.
before I just want to let everybody know. Oh, what?
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry. This is Jen. Dave just texted me and wanted me to say his introduction real quick.
Oh, okay, good.
So real quick, he was in for 20 years. He's my husband, Dave Littleson. And so now he works for the Kiowa tribe in Oklahoma, and he's their reintegration director for their tribe. So in fact, he's gone helping someone pay fines and then get some groceries. So that's what he does. He travels all around. He works in prisons, and he helps people find help. So that's his short spiel real quick. He'll be here next time.
Thank you. Good wife. Okay, so I want to let everybody know that our board meetings are going to be for healing, growth, connection, bringing us together. I'm going to be working with Dr. Perez Barone on creating an atmosphere within our board that we're all, going to be really solidified. We're going to be really together as a board and really learn and grow from this and be able to go out from there. So that's pretty much what our board means. And then the business aspect of the board is going to be as short as possible. So I will be sending out a year's worth of calendar invites so that everybody knows when the meetings will be, and they'll probably be quarterly, and we'll just be short and to the point, but also, try to really connect with each other and really get to know and build that bond with each other, because I think it's really important. At this time, I would like to give some space for anybody that feels like they want to be heard, or they have anything to say, or anything if you want to make a comment to one of the other board members or relate, or I would like to give you that opportunity. And if not, that's fine too. But I just wanted to give that space if anybody is feeling like they have something on their heart to say.
I've got one thing to share. So one of the things I just hope is to just give you guys the tools for what you already know. I mean, there's so much lived kind of wisdom in all of you and the folks that you serve have PhDs in life, right? In terms of survivability and what got us here and how we thrive. but I always think it's interesting to kind of be like, I knew that, damn it, right? When the data catches up with our lived experience, right? And there's a study that just came out last month. Theoretically, we've had this idea that, hey, these childhood traumas, right? This stuff that happens to us, or stuff that may not have happened to us, but happened to our ancestors, that we inherit, right? It's in our DNA. Um, it set us up, right? It's a bit of a setup, right? And it made us more, it put us more at risk for things that all of us get exposed to, right? Many folks experiment, things that are part of just being in our life, right? And somehow we end up falling down the hole. And they did a study, and they actually showed that folks with high ACE scores have a different experience. Folks without a history of addiction have a different experience with opiates, right? They're more pleasurable, right? They're more sticky. There's less negative side effects and more positive kind of attraction to it. And what that really told me is that what I've already seen in practice is that we're more susceptible to addictions and to addictive kind of relationships on a biochemical kind of basis as a result of what happened to us. And I just like when we can see the kind of the data that tells us what we already know. I was really excited. The folks that you introduced me to, Sarai, shared that with me, and I just want to share that with all of you. So we're not crazy, right? We came to this honestly.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there anybody else that has anything they'd like to share? All right, so at this time, love for the advisory board members to stay, but I totally understand it if you can't. And we're gonna go ahead and go on with our business meeting, business portion of the meeting, and I will send out the calendar invites, and I'll get with you, Doctor, to talk about how we can create a space here that we all feel included, we all feel cherished and cared for, and that our voices are heard, and that we all have a part in this. So. Bye.
So nice to meet all of you.
I'm going to stop the recording now so we can do our business.